Hello, hello, boxing world, and welcome to yet another edition of Fantasy Bout Hour, the channel dedicated to bringing you fantasy matchups on a regular basis. If there's a particular matchup that you want me to cover, please leave it in the comment section, and I promise to honor your request. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit that bell notification. I don't know about you all, but I'm ready for Saturday, August the 21st. Do you know what Saturday, August the 21st is? That's right, the big mega showdown between Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao and Errol the Truth Spence. So whoever you're picking in that fight, I'm sure you're excited or just excited about this fight as I am. So I'm ready for that one. I do want to give a shout out to Tyrese Buell. He requested Ward versus Calzaghe, and I covered that in my last video, and I failed to give him a shout out for that one. So Tyrese Buell, my apologies, sir, and I definitely want to give you credit for requesting that fight. I really do appreciate it. The fight I'm bringing to you in this video comes by way of request, and this is coming from Terrell C. Terrell, I thank you for your request, and I thank you for participating in the channel. Well, actually, Terrell requested two fights, which I'll cover in this video. And those fights are Marvin Hagler versus James Toney, and Aaron Pryor versus Oscar De La Hoya. Let's see which one I'll start with first. Let's go with Hagler versus Toney. Guaranteed to bring fireworks. This fight will most likely take place at middleweight. Two of the best. Both of these guys have fought the best of the best. Two top middleweights, two highly skilled fighters, two dangerous fighters. I mean, these guys are gonna bring it regardless. So as far as stylistic realities, we know that Marvin Hagler was a tough, mean southpaw, and this guy hit with power. I mean, and he was gonna bring it to you. He wasn't gonna run away from a fight. I mean, he would go blow for blow with you. So he was definitely a fan-friendly fighter, and I'm sure you would agree. As far as James Lights Out Toney, very slick fighter, very elusive fighter. He has that legendary hand speed. He perfected the Philly shell defense and the shoulder roll, and of course we see many fighters that have tried to emulate it. I think Floyd Mayweather has emulated it the best, of course, but man, Lights Out was the real deal. You know, these are two egos facing one another, so it's guaranteed to bring fireworks. It's guaranteed to bring fireworks. But in the rare case of a draw, we know that somebody has to win and that somebody has to lose. So here we go. I'm going to favor James Toney. And the reason being, now I'm going to get myself into trouble for this comparison maybe, or more than likely, I'm going to open up a can of worms. But I use the Sugar Ray Leonard fight as a template. And the reason being, regardless of who you thought won the fight, there's the Sugar Ray Leonard camp, which I'm in, and there's the marvelous Marvin Hagler camp, which many of you are probably in. But stylistically, Sugar Ray Leonard did give marvelous Marvin Hagler some trouble. He gave him some fits. Marvin Hagler was getting a little frustrated with the movement, the elusiveness, and it was clear that he wanted Sugar Ray Leonard to stand there and fight. I mean, which is understandable. But we know that, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard was going to move around. He was going to dance around. He picked his moments to where he was going to stand there and slug it out. But very slick, very elusive fighter. And so I'm comparing Sugar Ray Leonard to James Toney. James Toney is also a slick and elusive fighter. Now, of course, he doesn't move around as much as Sugar Ray Leonard, which is to Marvin's benefit. But at the same time, I could see him doing some things to frustrate Marvin, especially the hand speed, especially the peekaboo style. James Toney loved to play possum in there. So I think the hand speed, the shoulder rolls, you know, and just the many tricks in the trick bag, that James Toney has is enough to get him a decision in this one. So that's my thought on that one. James Toney by majority decision. Okay, let's go to Pryor versus De La Hoya. Another good one. And as I mentioned about Pryor in the last video, he's a great volume puncher. He's a relentless fighter. He applies lots of pressure, a tremendous amount of pressure. I mean, and he's gonna bring it. Has a decent jab, has decent head movement, but he was mainly offense. Didn't really give defense much consideration. So as great as he was, as great of a volume puncher that he was, I don't know. I'm not sure how disciplined Pryor was, and that's no disrespect towards him, but you just try to consider all the factors, weigh all the facts. As far as De La Hoya, he himself had great hand speed, one of the best left hooks in the history of boxing. That left hook has won him a lot of fights. So that left hook was his bread and butter. Oscar De La Hoya had a great jab, great volume puncher as well. The only thing that would favor Pryor in this matchup possibly is the stamina issues. Unfortunately, De La Hoya tended to fade down the stretch, but that's no slam on him. I mean, all fighters have weaknesses and strengths, so no slam on him at all. But with all those things in mind, this has the makings of a good fight. Yes, this will be a very entertaining fight, a crowd-pleasing fight. More than likely, they're going toe-to-toe. But I'm going to lean towards De La Hoya in this one, and the reason being is De La Hoya hits harder, has the better resume, has been in there with the better fighters. As good as Aaron Pryor was, his resume wasn't stacked. And he was good. Aaron Pryor was good, but he wasn't as good as most of his contemporaries like Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. But I love boxing enough to try to keep it as real as possible. So it will be a firefight. But I'm not sure how much Pryor's chin will hold up against De La Hoya's power. De La Hoya is just not volume punching and earning points. He's throwing punches with mean intentions, and he's throwing punches to hurt you. Not to mention he has underrated speed. And like I said, Pryor's advantages is down the stretch. If De La Hoya fades and Pryor can keep coming at him, but that's Pryor's only hope in this matchup. So I'm going to go with Oscar De La Hoya by a close split decision. I'm going to put the link. I did a video on Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, my breakdown, how I thought the fight would end up going. So I'm going to put that link in the description. Check out that video as well, and let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video.